I dreamed of going to sea since childhood. It would seem like a strange wish for a kid born inside of a hamlet outside of Smolensk, and yet the tales of my grandpa who served in the Baltic Navy at the close of the previous century became imprinted in my memory. After moving to the city and finishing a factory apprenticeship, I intended to enroll at the Frus Naval Academy in Leningrad, but life had other plans for me. In a surprising turn of events, I first found myself attending a flying club before joining aviation school, which I graduated in 1939. I had the war to thank for my acquaintance with the sea. After getting heavily wounded outside Moscow, spending almost a year in and out of hospitals, I completed retraining and was referred to the 47th Attack Aviation Regiment of the Black Sea Air Force. My dream had come true, but there was no telling if it was for better or for worse. The night I arrived, I received my flight charts and a full set of uniform, finally changing out of my threadbare hospital-issue army tunic into a Navy uniform jacket. I also met the maintenance staff and the air gunner assigned to my crew, a senior Red Navy man by the name of Valinsky Romero. He had several flights under his belt. We came to terms quickly, so I felt my back was covered in a battle. After checking the cockpit and testing the engine on the ground, I took off with the squadron commander's permission and followed the racetrack pattern over the airfield. He then cleared me to fly in a pair with his assistant. Wolfpack 345 here, and welcome to my new playthrough in IL-2 Battle of Kuban. We're going to be playing through the Sea Dragons campaign, which takes us in the IL-2 Modification 1943. And that is what we are in now. I'm running with the cockpit open, mostly because we are at a fairly low altitude, and, well, it's very pretty outside, so you get that fresh, nice Kuban air in my cockpit and ventilate it out a little bit. So this is the IL-2 Modification 1943. As you can see, it is fairly basic inside. We only have a handful of gauges and controls. Nothing too insane. It's not like the P-47 where everything's labeled very well and detailed. So I'm going to try to do my best to figure out what all of this is. I haven't played in the IL-2 very much, but I'll do a quick walkthrough of the cockpit, and I need to be sure I stay with my commander's assistant, who is just up ahead. We're just doing a quick little circuit around the airfield. I've flown this mission a couple of times already, and I don't think anything happens. At least nothing's happened in the past couple of times I've flown it, so we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't hit the fan this time. That would be kind of amusing, but this would serve as a good introduction episode to the campaign and to the IL-2 as an aircraft. So just a quick run through of the cockpit. There we have our manifold pressure, right there. Next to it we have our altimeter, then we have our speed indicator, we have a compass, a turn and slip indicator there in the middle, right in front of our joystick. And we have a vertical speed indicator right there, and then a bank indicator right below it. Those little red lights over on the right hand side, that's our landing gear indicator. And I need to throttle up a little bit more so I catch up and trim out my plane a little bit. I'm not very well trimmed out due to all this talking. We have our various temperatures down there, the little red and green switch. And then this guy, this little yellow switch, is actually our fuel tanks. So our fuel tanks, as you can see, it was at 100%, but now it's at, about a quarter of a tank. That's because our pilot automatically switches between the tanks using that little switch. There's actually 3 fuel tanks on the IL-2, and when you flip that, it switches between the 3. So that's what he's doing. He's just rotating through all of them, so you can see the various levels of fuel in all of your tanks. You can't do it manually. It happens all automatically. So that's kind of nifty. It's a pretty cool feature of the aircraft. And then we have various switches. I'm not sure what the rest of this really does. We obviously have our joystick with bombs and rockets and guns. We do have machine guns and cannons on this aircraft, and we need to bank with our friend. We have our throttle quadrant with our mixture radiator. This little lever controls our pitch trim. And yeah, that's about the extent of my knowledge. Like I said, very basic. I do like the go with the canopy open and non-combat scenarios. A lot of Russian pilots did fly with their canopies open, especially in like the fighters like the LA-5, mostly to ventilate it. I know the LA-5 FN was notoriously bad for having very poor ventilation in the plane. So the exhaust would get in your cockpit, and it'd probably get pretty nauseating after a while, just breathing in all those fumes. So, but the downside is it does increase drag for obvious reasons. It's not very aerodynamic to have a giant hole in the middle of your fuselage. So closing the canopy in combat scenarios is probably the smart idea. Now a little bit about the IL-2. The IL-2 was the second most mass-produced, or no, the most mass-produced plane of World War II, and it's the second most mass-produced plane ever. It's right behind the Cessna 172, which is a single-seater recreational aircraft. There's a lot of them over here in the States. And we're going to go ahead and bank, and we should begin our final approach. Our airfield is just on the other side of that little lake. I guess it's not a lake. I'm not sure what to call that, but... So let's go ahead and bank with our leader. And it is obviously a ground attack aircraft. So this will be my first ground attack campaign. I was thinking of doing this or a BF-110 playthrough, but I went ahead and decided on this. I've had really good reviews, and I haven't played it since its release, so it should be fun. And there's our friend way up there. We have a pretty interesting gunsight here. I'm assuming the bottom ones are for rockets. I need to look into that a little more. But since we are a ground pounder, essentially, we have a variety of different ordnance we can take. We have rockets, bombs, and everything in between. So it should provide quite a variety. And also, since we're in the Kuban region, we're going to be attacking a lot of shipping. So I'm excited to do that. It makes me wish for torpedoes. I can't wait till they add torpedoes into the game. That's going to be a load of fun, but unfortunately they are not in the game. But this plane is fairly easy to fly. I haven't had any problems with it. I did have a little shaky takeoff initially. I raised my flaps a little too quickly, and the plane kind of plummets when you do that. So I've learned my lesson. I need to gain a little more speed before I retract my flaps, it seems. And there's a little speedboat out there. It's making its way along the coast, protecting us from the German invaders. But this should be interesting, and we are flying over one of the most beautiful maps in the game. So hopefully this is entertaining. I am going for a more cinematic feel than any of my other flight simulator playthroughs. And this is probably going to be a benchmark for my channel. I have a feeling a lot of them will be like this. Whether I write the intros myself, like in Silent Hunter 4, or I read the briefings like this one, which are already pre-written. The story's already pre-made. It's made by Black 6, who is a developer at 1C Game Studios, and this one released with the Kuban expansion, obviously. He's done pretty good work. I've also played his 10 Days of Autumn campaign. I played through some of Blazing Step. I was going to save that one for another playthrough. And he is releasing another one called Fortress on the Volga, which I will definitely be playing. I am interested in that. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and begin our descent. And our airfield is not the very nice paved one right ahead. Ours is the rinky-dink little strip out there. We do not live a life of luxury, evidently. I think this is probably for the fighter pilots. Those lucky duckies. Let's see, though. But yeah, we just have the tiny little strip right next to the ocean. At least we have a waterfront view, I suppose. We're right next to the ocean, so I can go and wash my feet. I don't know. I don't know. Must be nice. Must be nice. And it looks like someone's landing there. What's landing there? Is that an IL-2? I don't think that's an IL-2. It looks very small. Well, we'll do a little flyby and see what he is. But that's a pretty large airfield. Let's see here. And yeah, like I said, nothing bad happened. Apparently something's happening somewhere. A BF-109 just destroyed a yak, according to the little icons there at the left. But I didn't see it, so I don't know. And it looks like it's a yak. Okay, so we do share our airfield with a fighter squadron. Guess we can look in the hangars. Yeah, there's quite a few IL-2s though. Alright, let's watch where I'm going and not hit anything. And they just launched a flare, so I should be cleared to circuit around and commence my landing. But let me know how you guys like this format. I hope you like it. I've been contemplating doing this for a while. I almost did it with Rise of Flight, my latest Rise of Flight playthrough, but I decided against it because I'm kind of lazy. But I definitely like the way my videos are going. I do like telling stories and such, so it's only natural. I tested it with Silent Hunter 4, and now it's about time to bring it to my other series. Let's go ahead and loop around. I kind of want to. I kind of want to land coming in from the sea, so that way I don't accidentally overshoot and roll off into the water. I would probably have a nice talk with a political officer after that. I'd rather avoid the NKVD right now. I don't think they would like it if I wasted this beautiful piece of machinery. So I'm gonna go ahead and be sure I don't wreck it, especially in a training flight. Oh no, I damaged my engine. So I have been running my engine pretty hot this whole time. I should have kind of been watching that. I was kind of ignoring it like an idiot. So it looks like I will be having a talk with a political commissar. Alright, let's go ahead and lower my gear and commence landing. I was having engine troubles from takeoff, but I went ahead and completed the circuit. Yeah, those engine troubles were on takeoff. I don't know what you're talking about, sir. Alright. Let's go ahead and throttle down. We need to lose some altitude and some speed. We're definitely losing the altitude. This thing's like a brick, Jesus. Alright, there we go. Coming in nice and smooth. Not too bad so far. Okay. So this plane does not have left and right brakes. It only has one central braking system, which is attached to our joystick. Okay, we bounced. Yeah, we came in a little hot. Okay, let's pull up so we don't nose dive. And there you can see the brake lever moving. So let's just go ahead and brake. And shut off that bad boy engine. There we go. We'll let the mechanics tow her somewhere else. And here comes our friend. I should probably hopefully he doesn't run into us, but there we go. Oh, and we also have a rear gunner. That would be important to know. So I don't know what you guys want to name my rear gunner. You tell me. I was thinking just Ivan, being very original here. But if y'all have a better name, let me know. Anyway, let's go ahead and exit out. Actually, I don't really need to because we didn't complete anything. There's nothing really to see, so I'll go ahead and just cut here. This was a short introduction episode, so if you enjoyed it, go ahead and leave a like, all that jazz, and I'll see you guys on the next one where hopefully we'll be attacking some ground targets. Hopefully boats. I'm excited to attack boats. That's really that's really what I'm excited to do. So anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.